Thousands of evacuations underway in Ukraine's Kharkiv region following Russia's incursion, while Kyiv strikes back in Belgorod.
Putin shook up his inner circle by reshuffling his cabinet following inauguration into his fifth presidential term.
Israel pushes their ground offensive into Rafah as US delivers its harshest criticism of Israel yet.
Russia hit the Kharkiv region with more than 30 strikes in the past 48 hours. Several residential buildings were destroyed or damaged, and the body of a woman was found under the rubble. Heavy fighting's been mounting since Saturday after Russia's sudden incursion in the Vovchansk area. Over 5,000 people have already been evacuated. Ukraine's President Zelensky described the situation in Vovchansk as extremely difficult. His forces struck back on Sunday with a massive shelling on the Russian city of Belgorod. The attack hit a residential building, killing at least 15 people. The Belgorod region on Russia's western border has already been the target of a large number of strikes.
Putin shook up his inner circle by reshuffling his cabinet following inauguration into his fifth presidential term. He appointed the former defense minister Sergei Shoigu as secretary of Russia's National Security Council. Shoigu served as defense minister for years, but the recent arrest of one of his deputies on bribery charges was widely interpreted as an attack on him and a possible precursor to his dismissal. Shoigu played a massive role in the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and the implication of his dismissal on the war remains to be seen.
Shoigu and Patrushev, two of the four top people in the country and the government running the war at the same time without any real prior warning, at a time when there's a counteroffensive going on in northern Ukraine. I find it really quite impactful and surprising, but we will see in the next few days how it plays out.
In Shoigu's place, Putin appointed Andrei Belashov, who previously served as the deputy prime minister. A Kremlin spokesperson said the role was given to a civilian because the ministry should be open to innovation.
Georgia is about to approve a controversial law that tightens controls on organizations receiving foreign funds. The bill will go to Parliament on Tuesday after the green light received today by the Legal Affairs Committee. It says that any company getting at least 20% of its funding from abroad will be registered as pursuing the interests of a foreign power. Protesters have been gathering outside Parliament in Tbilisi since Sunday evening to prevent lawmakers from entering. Demonstrations are set to continue throughout the day after weeks of widespread rallies and arrests. The opposition is afraid this law will end up restricting media freedom and stigmatize government critics. Many also see it as a step back from Georgia's EU membership ambitions. The government said the bill will stem what it deems as harmful foreign influence over the country's political scene.
A payment card designed only for asylum seekers has come into force in Germany after the new rule was passed by Parliament last month. Migrants are not able to transfer money outside Germany in a bid to prevent them from sending money to family and friends abroad or to smugglers.
I tried to buy in a shop and they said that this card is not our partner, you can't buy from here, and it's also not working in all of Germany.
There are half money and half cash. With half money that are in the card, I can buy groceries, and with the other half, I can buy in every shop whatever I need for me and my children.
Migrant advocacy groups have criticized the new regulation as discriminatory.
Did you bring everything?
Yeah.
Also die ganze Diskussion um die Bezahlkarte wurde ja mit sehr klaren Motiven gestartet von der Ministerpräsidentenkonferenz. Sie wollen Menschen abschrecken und man muss ganz klar sagen, die Menschen kommen wegen Bürgerkrieg und Verfolgung, die lassen sich nicht von einer Bezahlkarte abschrecken.
Gerade bei uns im ländlichen Bereich sind die Asylbewerber auch auf Bus und Bahn angewiesen und zum Teil kann man halt nur ein Bar bezahlen. Ich selber zahle gerne ein Bar, ja. Und trotzdem finde ich beides halt auch sympathisch. Wir haben viele Nationalitäten, die sind mit Bargeld aufgewachsen, die kennen keine Kartenzahlung. Das ist für die zu modern.
Germany has been trying to clamp down on migration for months, and this latest measure comes just weeks before the European Union election.
Hallo, ich bin Noah Just, 16 Jahre alt und ich freue mich, dass ich dieses Jahr zum ersten Mal an der EU-Wahl teilnehmen darf und unsere EU mitgestalten kann. Wenn ich Europaabgeordneter wäre und die Welt retten könnte, würde ich mich dafür einsetzen, dass die Naturschutzgebiete in Rumänien geschützt werden. Denn aktuell kaufen große Möbelkonzerne diese Gebiete auf und roden sie anschließend, um daraus Möbel herzustellen. Ich möchte dies verhindern und das Klima schützen, damit ich meine Zukunft und die Zukunft meiner Kinder sichern kann.
If I'm re-elected as a member of the European Parliament, I will work, I will fight to defend the European democracy, our common values, freedom, liberty, justice. It's essential, it's important, and we will keep the social dimension, fighting for our rights, fighting for our freedom, and thinking in our future generation.
An exclusive Euronews poll is predicting a win for the incumbent Greek centre-right New Democracy Party in the European Parliament elections in June. It shows the party lost 3% of its support between March and May, but still came out on top. It's been 1 year since Greeks went to the polls and elected New Democracy, led by Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis. And the party appears to be retaining its popularity over its moderate left-wing rivals, Syriza and PASOK. The super poll puts Syriza in second place and PASOK third. Mitsotakis leads Syriza's candidate for Prime Minister, Stefanos Kasselakis, by more than 20%. Greece is somewhat of an outlier. Most of the European ruling parties are likely to face setbacks in the elections. Mitsotakis' New Democracy is expected to win one more seat in the European Parliament. And Syriza could keep its 4 seats in the European left benches. PASOK appears set to secure 3 MEPs to the Social and Democrats group. The Greek Solution Party is expected to grow and send 2 MEPs to the European Conservatives and Reformers. The Communist Party of Greece could have 2 seats in the non-attached group. With the far-right Spartans movement out of the race, the ultra-conservatives' votes could be absorbed by New Democracy. The ruling party has taken steps to move away from the far right, with Mitsotakis recently legalising same-sex marriage. The country's Supreme Court barred the Spartans over its alleged ties with the banned far-right Golden Dawn Party. The results mean that controversial New Democracy candidate Fredi Boleri could have a shot at entering the European Parliament. Boleri is serving a 2-year prison sentence in Albania for election fraud. Voting will begin on June the 9th.
Israel moves their ground offensive deeper into the southern border town of Rafah, forcibly displacing at least a further 300,000 people. Over 35,000 Palestinians have been killed across the Gaza Strip, and at least 78,700 have been injured. In the central city of Deir al-Balah, thousands of displaced from nearby Gaza City and the northern part of the Strip have set up sprawling tented settlements in the town, which risks to be unable to cope with the influx of people. Egyptian Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry met with his Slovenian counterpart Tanja Fajon in Cairo on Sunday, where both ministers called for a ceasefire and the release of all hostages. While Egypt says it will join South Africa's case against Israel, and Slovenia is seeking recognition of a Palestinian state. On Sunday, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken delivered some of the Biden administration's strongest public criticism yet of Israel's conduct of the war in Gaza, saying Israeli tactics have meant a horrible loss of life of innocent civilians. Whilst in Tel Aviv, relatives of hostages held in Gaza, an activist marked its Memorial Day for fallen soldiers and victims of attacks.
Lithuania's president appears on course for a second term as head of the state following the country's first round of presidential elections. In a rerun of the 2019 elections, Lithuanian President Gitanas Nausėda will face off against Prime Minister Ingrida Šimonytė in the country's second round of presidential elections. Nausėda barely missed the chance to be re-elected in the first round, receiving about 45% of the vote. Šimonytė received 18% of the vote, along with an endorsement from only one of the 6 losing candidates. While working in the Lithuanian government, the two regularly clashed over political values. However, support for Ukraine and stronger defense spending were two rare points of agreement.